When we tour bases, you see pieces of equipment that can be upwards of $2-3 million that will be unused for a year at a time because it's something that we can 3D print for a cost of $2 to $20. The American soldiers see that and they're not able to use it, and that is incredibly demoralizing.
I need your help. We are at a very unique inflection point in the United States where right to repair and right to own can be brought into the public consciousness in a very big way. What I've noticed over the past 13 years is that nobody cares about your problems, and they most certainly don't care about mine. People care about problems when they're personally affected by them. I can talk about right to repair until I'm blue in the face. Nobody gives a shit. I talked to a senator who was told by the Genius Bar they have to spend $900 to fix their computer when the only issue with it is a broken fan, and that's a senator co-sponsoring a right to repair bill. People care about problems when they're personally affected by those problems. And right now, people are being personally affected by those problems that are much more powerful and influential than you or I. That is at the Army and the Navy within the United States, and we are starting to get some traction, not just in the House, but also in the Senate, where people are just listening to these stories and they are aggravated by them. I want you to listen to this piece of testimony while the United States Secretary of the Navy is speaking to the Senate Armed Services Committee.
What we do makes no sense to me, okay? And so I am a huge supporter of right to repair. I went on the Ford carrier. They had 8 ovens. This is a ship that serves 15,300 meals a day. Only 2 were working. 6 were out. And I said, you've got 5,300 people on the ship. You're telling me someone can't fix an oven? We got a lot of engineers. We can, but we need to wait for the contractor to get out. I asked the question about our elevators. If an elevator go out, what happens? We've got to call Huntington. They've got to call the 4 other people. They have to come out and diagnose the problem, and then they'll fix it. It is crazy. We should be able to fix this. We need to really try to ensure going forward we control our IP and we have the ability to fix things, because if we're in a fight, how do we fix it then? Senator, I agree we need to have the right to repair our ship.
Do you support Congress passing a law that will help you negotiate repair rights at a fair and reasonable price?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
You hear the tone in his voice? You hear how much he dislikes this? Now listen to the Secretary of the Army speaking to the House Armed Services Committee.
I kind of talk about this line of effort, which has strong bipartisan support. Monopolies and corporate abuses of power in our defense sector have undermined our military readiness. They have been a prolific driver of waste, fraud, and abuse, and they've really hurt American small businesses. You, Secretary Driscoll, have prioritized one of the most pernicious corporate practices, the monopolization of repair, in the Army Transformation Initiative. You have committed to ensuring that existing or future contract is going to include a right to repair for our military and our service members. Is that right?
Very explicitly, Congresswoman, on a go-forward basis, we have been directed to not sign any contracts that don't give us a right to repair. On a go-back basis, we have been directed to go and do what we can to go get that right to repair. And I can say on a personal, how important I think this is. We hope that anyone listening to us who hopes to pitch us a contract going forward will look back at their previous agreements they've signed with us. And if they're unwilling to give us that right to repair, I think we're going to have a hard time negotiating with them. When we tour bases, you see pieces of equipment that can be upwards of $2-3 million that will be unused for a year at a time because it's something that we can 3D print for a cost of $2 to $20. And beyond just the sinfulness of not using that asset, the American soldiers see that and they're not able to use it, and that is incredibly demoralizing. And so this is a virtuous cycle that I think benefits us in a lot of ways.
And can you commit that you'll work with this committee on a bipartisan basis to codify a right to repair for our military and service members?
I can commit that it is an incredibly important topic, and I would do whatever I can personally and in this role to help.
I like what they're trying to do. Now, this is something that we had actually tried to do many, many times. I've brought up this issue of military right to repair back in 2019, 2021, 2023, and earlier this year. But we're finally starting to get some traction here. This was from the Secretary of the Army a few months ago. This is in a memo. It says, identify and propose contract modifications for right to repair provisions. And there's also a bill that has recently been brought up. This, unfortunately, I believe, had a no vote on it. This didn't really go anywhere. This was in December of 2024. However, we are going to be getting a new one soon. This is something that I'm very, very happy about because there's a lot of waste in the military budget when it comes to right to repair or just in being able to source things in general. 7,493% markup on a soap dispenser, $71 for a pin. There are two senators that could not be further opposites from each other, Tim Sheehy and Elizabeth Warren, and they are going to be proposing a bipartisan bill that I would like to get some support behind, because if we can get right to repair in the military, then maybe it's easier to start shifting the culture and getting more people to understand the issue and actually start getting right to repair for normal devices. This is a sad article. The inside story of how the Navy spent billions on a little crappy ship. Like, this is... It's just bad. It's all bad. I would like to see this bill gain some traction because I'm a taxpayer, which means I don't like seeing the military budget go up by $300 billion and not having a clue what the hell we're getting for it. And B, I like the idea of being able to fix what we bought and paid for. If people that are in wheelchairs can fix their stuff, if people that fix medical devices can fix their stuff, if people that are on farms can fix tractors, if people can fix their military equipment, it all bodes better for right to repair as a whole. At the end of the day, we're all under the same umbrella, and we're all getting fucked. If I stop my brother from getting screwed, I too one day may stop getting screwed. That's the way I see it. If you take a look, this is going to be a bit of an uphill battle. It's going to require some convincing, because when you see the people donating to the politicians on these armed services committees, we got Lockheed Martin, need I say more? Some of the names you may not be familiar with: Huntington Ingalls, primary builder of U.S. Navy aircraft carriers and submarines, which you may have heard the Secretary of the Navy mention there. Seaman Composites, manufacturer of advanced composites for U.S. military vessels. General Dynamics, top UF5 U.S. defense contractors. APAC, I'm not even gonna fucking get into that one in this video. Needless to say, they are going to need some convincing if they are going to vote yes on this. And at the end of the day, no matter how much money they get towards their re-election campaign from these companies, they don't get voted into office unless you vote for them. So what I would like you all to do, if you could help me, go to the video description, scroll down. You're going to see a list of names, and then you're going to see URLs to how you could contact them. What you're going to do is you're going to go, do I live in any of these states? If you do, you click. B, you are going to then take their contact information. And then C, you are going to write them something. You are going to say something along the lines of this: Dear Senator whatever the hell, I believe in right to repair. Right to repair says that you should be able to fix what you bought and paid for. This is being taken away everywhere. I can't fix what I bought and paid for, and now the military can't either. We don't like fraud, waste, and abuse. We are trying to find ways to cut down on fraud, waste, and abuse. Being able to fix things means not wasting billions of dollars on things that are not working. I would like to see right to repair for the military. I believe in this. Kindly let me know how you will be voting on this 1 or 2 months from now when a bill comes out, so that I know how to vote in the next primary or general election. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. I'm not going to give you a copy and paste thing, because if I do, it's going to look like 50 or 1,000 people all wrote the same thing, which then begs the question of whether you're bots or somebody else is just telling you to say something rather than you believing in it. You need to write it for yourself. And frankly, if you've been watching this channel for 12 years, you should know what to say. It doesn't have to be genius. It doesn't have to be 8 pages. Just something very simple. I am a voter in your district. I believe in right to repair. I do not like to see that the military is getting screwed in this way. I see that there is a right to repair bill coming up. I would like to know how you are voting. I hope you vote yes. Signed, a voter. I'm going to ask you to do that for me, because that's the only way that this is going to get any better. Something I've noticed, and I know a lot of people are going to say, push back, but it is true. Politicians will actually vote the way that their constituents want them to vote. The problem is that nobody shows up and tells them this, so they just don't care. Most of the right to repair hearings I've been to, there's 2 people there. There's like me, Nathan Proctor, and one other dude. And sometimes there's just nobody there to begin with. So when you have 15 lobbyists that show up that explain why it is they should not do something, and they are coming from all of these different groups because they are very well organized. And then you have us with nobody who shows up. Who do you think wins? Look at the lies that they are telling here. Like one of the things that I found interesting. Section 828 will require contractors to provide repair materials at prices equivalent to the most favorable prices offered by the manufacturer's authorized dealers, including all discounts and rebates. Many large OEMs do not sell parts directly, but rather rely on authorized dealers to serve customers in their local communities. Section 828's price mandates on OEMs would ultimately fall on these dealers, significantly altering the economics of the dealer distribution model by effectively eliminating dealer margins. This would harm the network of manufacturers and authorized dealers, many of whom are small and medium-sized businesses that the department ultimately relies on, compromising the very readiness this provision is ostensibly intended to enhance. This is complete bullshit. When I talk about what the issues are in my industry, I don't want to pay $1,000 for a motherboard. I want to pay $15 for the broken chip. When I pay $15 for the broken chip, Mouser, who has bought that chip for $1 from Texas Instruments, is happy to sell it to me for $15 because they're making $15. Texas Instruments, who's making that chip for 2 cents, is happy to sell it to Mouser.com for $1 because that means that they have just made 1,000% profit. It is very, very simple for there to be a supply chain where people are making money and people are able to fix their products. Most likely, they are lying. And if they are not lying, that means that we have a completely fucked supply chain that needs to change. I guarantee you, the more that you dig into any of these individual issues and investigate them, you will find fraud, waste, abuse, and bullshit. The next thing I'm going to ask you is if you are a member of the military that has experience with how any of these repair issues have affected readiness, email me. youtube@rossmangroup.com. I'm going to include the email down below. I'm going to ask for information from you because I'm going to want to write up articles on this. Pushing this forward is going to help a group of people that are also going to be able to help me when it comes to other right to repair and right to own issues that I bring up on this channel. The Fulu Foundation that I announced starting in this video is a foundation that's looking to restore ownership. There are laws in this country that make it illegal to break a lock in what you bought and paid for, a digital lock. That is insane. There should not be digital locks on what you bought and paid for, and if there are, you should have the ability and the right to reverse engineer those locks and get around them, because that is freedom. We don't have that freedom right now. It's a freedom that's been taken away from us. And I'm working as hard as I can to get that freedom back, which means making friends with people who are like-minded, who want to do this type of stuff. Now, I know what some of you are going to say. Elizabeth Warren, Tim Sheehy, I don't like it. I don't give a fuck what you like, bro. I don't fucking care. The military budget goes up 20 to 50 billion fucking dollars every year. And what do we get for it? Nothing. We get broken shit while military contractors get richer and richer off of the backs of ordinary, average, everyday taxpayers. It's bullshit. Do you want to cry about the fact that you don't like the person writing the bill? Or do you want to help us fix it? These two politicians could not be at each other's throats over more issues if they tried. But they are coming together here because it doesn't matter where you are on the political spectrum in the United States of America or the world. You know that a 7,000% markup on a soap dispenser is bullshit. You know that you should not have a ship that serves food to over 5,000 people that has over 70% of its stoves out of order. That's insane. The same thing that I've been talking about on this channel when it comes to cell phones and MacBooks and everything else is a microcosm of what's been happening in the overall world. And I want to try and do something about it. Since starting this new Fulu Foundation that I talked about here, we're not just going over right to repair. We're going over right to own. We're going at the heart of laws that make it illegal to break a digital lock in what you bought and paid for. Something that just makes me sick. The idea that reverse engineering or math can be illegal. There's a lot of work that we have to do over the next 5 to 6 years if we're truly going to get ownership back as a society, culturally and legislatively, which means making friends with people who are doing this type of work so that they are going to help us when we need it. So do me a favor. Put down your aggravation with the names of the individual politicians. Put down your cynicism that everything is pointless and there's no point in even bothering. Because you thinking there's no point in even bothering is why you don't show up. You not showing up is why your neighbor doesn't show up. Your neighbor not showing up is why everybody else doesn't show up. And when all of you don't show up, you know who does? Advamed, all these other motherfuckers, and you know what they do? They win. So you're going to go into the video description. You're going to ask yourself, do I live in the state of any of these politicians? If you do, you're going to click onto the website. After you do that, you're going to find their contact info. You're going to call them. You're going to leave them a voicemail. You're going to write them a letter. You're not going to go into my comments and say, Louis, what do I say? Because I already told you what to say earlier in the video, and you're going to do it. Did I ask you to sign up for NordVPN? Did I try to sell you Raycons? Did I try to tell you to go to BetterHelp? No. I don't ask you people for shit. So for once, help me. And if you're a United States taxpayer, let's be real. You're helping yourself. That's it for today. And as always, I hope you learned something. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye now.